All right. How you doing, PV Nation? It is homecoming week. Welcome to the Mike Prince Show, brought to you each and every day, right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Of course, we're coming to you with the world of HBCU and beyond, with an emphasis on Prairie View A&M University. Don't forget the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook handle is at the Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network, and our website is obnradio.com. You can join us each and every day on either one of those connections. And without any further delay, we'll jump right into today's episode. We do know it is a big week for PV Nation. Coach Eric Dooley and company making preparations for Alcorn, a must-win game, a critical game. I'm going to play for you the teleconference for Coach Eric Dooley from the Southwestern Athletic Conference. It was just on Monday, and we'll play that for you. But before we do that, I want to play for you the post-game soundbite after the Southern loss. I'm just going to play a little bit of it that you could hear something, and I'll explain that, and then we'll go to Monday's teleconference.
Shut you guys down?
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily shut us down, but I will say I take my hat off to Coach Adams and Coach Holder and his coaching staff. I thought they had a great game plan together, and they came out and they executed in all three phases of the game.
Okay, that was a little bit of the soundbite from last time out against Southern. The question was asked, how do you respond to Southern shutting you down? And the reply was, I don't feel like Southern shut us down. Now, once again, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but part of moving forward is accepting that they shut us down. And we have to be able to accept that in order to add the necessary improvements to advance, to leave that behind us. I admit it and acknowledge, hey, we're all good for a mulligan, and that was our mulligan. But we can't act like that we are not in a situation of desperate changes in the approach that we have to the game. Very quick to say we're going to leave that in the rearview mirror and continue to move forward. That's a good thing. But one of the safeties of driving is you have to always check your rearview mirror so nothing comes back to get you from behind. You check your side view mirrors as well as looking forward. So we got to really focus. Now, this next part we're going to hear is from Monday's teleconference. And I asked a couple of questions, and you're kind of limited on what you can and can't do because there are many people gathered in, so you can't really get to the heartbeat of what you would like to on an exclusive interview, but we have to work with what we can. And I want you to listen to the transaction between the Ghost and I, and then there was another brother came through that followed up, and we'll come back with some more after that as well.
We had a good bye week. Actually had an opportunity to get some work in to continue to practice to try to get better each day. And I thought the guys came in and they accepted the challenge and showed a lot of effort throughout this open week. So was pleased with what we were able to accomplish this past week.
Coach, how you doing? This is Mike Prince again with OBN Radio. Hope you had a creative bye week, getting ready for this homecoming against Alcorn this week.
Absolutely. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing real good. Look, I got a question. I kind of dubbed these guys as MIA, and hopefully you can bring me up to speed on if there's any plans to incorporate these guys more in the game plan, and that would be Tristan Wallace and Goodwater. They had some flashes of brilliance early part of the season, but it seemed like they're faded as we come to this crossroad of the season. Are they okay? Are there any implications of trying to incorporate them more into this week's plan?
They're both doing well. Actually, Goodwater had a couple of injuries. He was banged up a little bit. he's 100%. Well, not 100% as good as he could be right now, and he should be ready to go this game as well. And Tristan, we just got to continue to do some things to get him incorporated into the game, as you said. But both those guys are doing fine right now, and we just look to get those guys started again.
Now, every game is a learning experience and a gain experience. Now, I kind of scratched my head, but I guess it is what it is. You implicated that you didn't really feel like we were shut down by Southern, but you're going to continue to do the same things over. What did you learn from that game, and how can this last week's game prepare us for this game against Alcorn, which is, I'm considering that it's a must-win game for PV to keep their playoff hopes alive?
Well, when you look at this conference, I said it from the beginning of the year, every game is a must-win game because I think this conference is very competitive this year here. Got a lot of great coaches, a lot of good football teams. So we just got to continue to prepare each week. But, no, I thought Coach Odoms and his staff did a good job of game planning, and it did some things. But, of course, we didn't help ourselves by turning over the ball as many times as we did. And, things happen, but we just continue to work and do the things that's going to make us better as a football team. I continue to say, and I learned that from another coach, we're going to scratch where it itch at. And we know some things we have to correct, and those are the things we were able to work on this open date that we had.
All right, Coach, and my final question is, in most cases, after we would say a lackluster performance, usually it becomes where the players would step up and have an in-house meeting. Have you had any of those players to step up and kind of take matters into their own hand and kind of rally the team around to get things back on track for PV Nation?
No, I didn't think we need no in-house meeting, and a lot of times when those things take place, it's just a formality. Things do. They hear other teams doing that. I mean, we're a team that's close-knitted together. We understand our mistakes and things that we have to correct, so it wasn't a huge thing where we had to have a come-together meeting where we had to do some things that we, wasn't successful in. We had a bad game, and there's no case about that. Nothing we can do about that is in the past, is in our rearview mirror, and we're moving forward for a great Alcorn team that's coming to town on Saturday.
All right. I guess I was more or less asking who were some of your vocal leaders for the squad, and did they kind of rally the guys around? And thanks for the input, and good luck on this week against Alcorn.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach Dooley, Luke Williams for the Black College Sports Page. Good morning.
How you doing, Luke?
Doing fine. Hey, Coach, I've talked to Coach McNair, and you mentioned that Southern had a good game plan against you, and he talked about how people are going to look at that film to see how to shut you down. So I would assume, even though you don't want to look in the rearview mirror, you're going to have to, whatever Southern did well, to kind of shut you down and to come up with a good scheme against you, I'm sure you're going to have to guard against that. So the first question would be, what did Southern do that particularly you maybe threw your offense off or caused the 5 interceptions or whatever?
I mean, you look at Jalen, and I didn't feel too good for him because, you say 5 interceptions, and it always goes towards the quarterback. But we had a lot of tip balls in that game as well, and guys played well. They was in the position where they needed to be at, so they was able to, fortunate enough to make the plays. Of course, they did some good things against us that did not give us the rhythm that we were looking for offensively as well as defensively. I thought they were able to, do some things that had to change, and we had to make some adjustments. And I didn't think we adjust well to what they were doing to us. So, I mean, of course, it's a much better game plan, much better preparation. I take the blame for anything. I got to prepare my team much better for them to be able to go out and compete against teams such as that nature.
But you think the schemes that Southern used, you think that there's going to be, obviously, we talk about copycats all the time. You think they're going to try some of the same things? I don't know if they rushed or surprised you in terms of how many they rushed or how many they dropped, that kind of stuff. Any of that kind of stuff, you think that other teams are going to try to look at that film and try to get a handle on that?
Well, I don't think so, because when you're comfortable in what you're doing and you believe in what you're doing, you're going to continue to do that. You can't make that change right now. You may make some adjustments, but you talk about the Braves, they've been playing exceptionally well. They got the number 1 ranked defense in the conference, so why change what you've been doing if you've been successful with it? So I look for a couple of wrinkles through here and there from this team here. I mean, that's quite naturally that those things happen throughout the course of the year because you just can't stay the same and expect the same results. So I look for things here and there, but we're going to prepare for what we've been seeing.
And you said just a bad game. Have you identified particularly what you thought happened in that game that had that kind of performance, a bad performance against Southern?
Yeah, I thought we didn't rush the ball well. I mean, in the past we got a guy, Dwayne Tucker, and a couple other guys, Kalen Broach. Those guys run the football pretty good. I didn't think we had the opportunity to win in the trenches. What I like to say, we didn't do some things there that didn't give us the success that we normally have success in the run game. So it wasn't balanced. We got into where we just was actually just throwing the ball, and then when you're one dimensional, it's kind of it's easier to defend. So we didn't do the things that we were accustomed to doing, and I think we just have to get to those things and continue with the success that we have in the running as well as the passing.
Speaking of Broach, will you have Broach for this game, or do you know?
Yes, he's healthy and ready to go. I mean, he's about healthy as anyone at this time of the season. I mean, he's good to go, and I look forward to him. But, more than anything, it wasn't just, the offense didn't put up the numbers that they normally put up. But, just like in the old thing when you say football, you got to be able to stop the run as well. And we didn't do a very good job of that. So, of course, we got to we have already corrected those things that where we wasn't doing that past week against Southern University. So, of course, it's some things that we have to do in all three phases of the game. So, I mean, to get better, that's what you do.
Got you, Coach. Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, that was Coach Dooley on his teleconference from Monday. And if you notice, sometimes you got to go a little bit beyond than just some cliches and let's try to get through with this as soon as possible. It wasn't just the fact of just continue to move forward. You have to go and fine tune. And I'll admit he did acknowledge that, Southern did put some things together and talk about the 5 interceptions where it wasn't like Morton just threw them directly to guys. They were tipped. That's part of a defense shutting you down. That's part of adjustments being made. That's part of lack of adjustments being made during the course of the game. However, through the press conference, we've heard where the adjustments to stopping the run, which is going to be imperative from here throughout the rest of the season, teams are going to challenge us in the run. And at some point, Coach Dooley and his OC and DC, they're going to have to make adjustments. And sometimes you have to make adjustments on the fly. You don't have till halftime. You have to change accordingly. And what I'm hearing is that we didn't need to have no team meeting. We didn't need to do this or we didn't need to do that. I'm going to agree to disagree with that. Everybody is entitled to their opinions. I'm not the head coach. But from being in a competitive level on the Division I rankings, if you don't have a team meeting after a lack of performance such as this, then I'm wondering and scratching my head to myself, why not? Just some outside the box thinking. And before I go any further, I want to share this with PV Nation. I've been reading some of your social media tidbits and comments, and I'm going to say this again. Brother Harold Mitchell did not make that call or decision on his own. Once again, I was an eyewitness. I'm not telling you by the grapevine. I'm not telling you about the gossip chat line or the chat room. I'm telling you firsthand experience that Harold Mitchell did not execute that call on his own. He called the SWAC conference office, spoke to 2 authoritative figures. They gave the consent to execute the call. So please don't blame this on Harold Mitchell. Let's let Unigate die. Just like we have to accept the fact that we were shut out on our home opener. To say that we were not handled or dominated, that is denial. And we cannot continue to expect the team to move forward and PV Nation to move forward if we continue to be in denial. Because that's yesterday's news. That game is over with. And we can't afford to allow that game to beat us twice. Alcorn is coming to town. Alcorn is coming with a vengeance. And we must be steadfast and unmovable to handle the challenge that will strike upon us come October 27th at 2 p.m. That's where the focus should be. Once again, Harold Mitchell did not make that call on his own. I was in the press box from the beginning of that conversation for the duration of that conversation, because it didn't just start at kickoff. That conversation started prior to, and the conversation continued way on to after halftime. So trust me when I tell you, I benefit nothing. I'm not on anyone's payroll. And I'm telling you what the truth is. Now, you can take it for what it's worth. And I'll add this to it. You don't have to like the messenger that's giving you the report, but please acknowledge and receive the message. It was not Harold Mitchell who made that call alone. He gave his analysis of what was going on, explained the situation, and he was given the authority from the SWAC conference office to execute that call. I've got to take a break right now. We come back, we'll hear from Coach Sandy Pugh as she gets ready for her inaugural debut as the head basketball coach of the Lady Panthers. You're listening to the Mike Prince Show on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We'll be right back.
The birth of legends are storied in this conference. We must never forget our rich history. We now turn our gaze to the future. The new legends will emerge. New heroes to arise. The Southwestern Athletic Conference. Be our history.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It is the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. I have on the line right now Coach Sandy Pugh. The Lady Panthers have been selected to finish third with the SWAC preseason selection. Someone has to be somewhere, and the Panthers will pick for number 3. We have Coach Pugh on the line. Coach, how you doing today?
Oh, wow. I'm doing great. How about yourself, Mike?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. You heard me just say that they had the Lady Panthers and you in your first year Prairie View slated at number 3. I know polls are polls and opinions are opinions, but how did you react when you found out that you guys would be selected in the number 3 spot?
Well, Mike, I never put any, at least not much behind, the vote. The preseason poll, everything simply comes down to who wants it and who has the wherewithal and the talent to get it. So, and talking to my staff, they were like, Coach, where do you think we're going to be? I figured they'd probably put us somewhere around second or third. So we fell within the parameter of where the guest game went. But the bottom line is, when we go out, we don't practice like a third-place team, and I don't expect us to execute like a third-place team. Every time we hit the floor, I expect us to be executing like a championship team. We're going to practice like one. I want to look like one. And, I think we got some phenomenal pieces. 2 of our kids were chosen first team all-conference. And, and it's kind of funny because we got some kids that are sitting in the background that have the capability of getting us 20 and 10 a night and doing some phenomenal thing. That so when you look at the schedule and you look at our roster, I get excited about it. And I think that preseason is going to get us ready for the conference. And right now, the practices are getting us ready for preseason. So I think when conference roll around, we roll in to Baton Rouge on January 5th. I expect to have a team on that floor that mimics what I traditionally put out there, quality, teams that execute, and, teams that get after it with that toughness. So really excited about everything that's going on. And to me, it's going to be a phenomenal year.
We're talking right now with Coach Sandy Pugh of the Lady Panthers. Panthers getting ready for their inaugural season under the leadership of Coach Sandy Pugh. And you just made mention that you'll open up conference play in a place that you were familiar with from the sum of 17 to 18 years. And we always talk about the professional part of it, the business part of it. We still have a personal side that has to go with this. And I know we have all of these other non-conference games that'll be leading up to your opening of conference play. But be honest with me, Sandy. I think we've known each other well enough now. When you open up in Baton Rouge, it's going to be a special day for you, isn't it?
You know what, Mike? I've been at this a long time, and I'm going to be honest with you. It's another game. I've always been such a competitor that I look at each game in that conference with the same ferocity. I'm here to win, and I talk to the kids all the time about being able to get up and do the same thing over and over, year in and year out, and do it well. And when I talk to them about that, I pride myself on that. And the reason why I think I pride myself on that so much is because my grandfather used to always say, "Don't put the cart ahead of the horse." So I go one game at a time. And when we play on January 5th, it's going to be great seeing, the people I care about. But I'm going to tell you right now, I won't see anybody until that game is over. When the game is over, I'll shake hands and all that stuff. But when I walk in that gym, I'm there to get a dub.
And I know the competitor Sandy Pugh that I've seen roam up and down on the sidelines that pressed on my beloved Panthers when they had a 20-point lead, but you kept your foot on the throttle. So I know what I'm seeing, Miss Pugh.
Mike, I can honestly tell you, and you got to hear me now. I mean, I can honestly tell you, it's business as usual with Sandy Pugh. Anybody that worked with me will tell you it's business as usual, and this team, I want to see my kids successful. The success I have comes from them. So, and I talk to them every day about being a champion, what a champion looks like, what a champion walks like, talks like, acts like. We talk about that every single day. And the reason why is because, they need to hear that. And they need to understand that there are different levels to this, There's a reason why some people always finish second, third, or fourth. There's a reason why, and right now we're picked to finish third. That's unacceptable. And they gotta have it in their mind that that's unacceptable because it has been acceptable for too long. So it's a new day on the hill, there's a new sheriff in town. And these kids are what the kids that walk onto my floor every day, they see it. They're buying in. They're working really hard, and I think when all this whole thing shakes up, and I told I was talking to the coaches from over there, and we were all out on the road, and I was telling them I can really see that last game of the year right here on the hill being the difference between first and second.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that. I can see that easily happen because, like I told you before, That team that I left down there, it's stacked top to bottom. They have every piece of the puzzle they need to be great. So, it's going to be a battle, and that, like I say, it's, the bottom line is you might lose a battle here or there, but, you got to be in it for the long haul. And hopefully when it's all said and done, we'll be the ones cutting the net. We'll be the ones celebrating victory. And that's what it's about, personal feelings, I don't have any personal feelings. This is business.
All business. I like that. I like that, Sandy. We're talking with Sandy Pugh, head basketball coach of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Now, you made mention about something where you happen to really reprogram this unit that you've inherited, teaching them about what a champion does, how a champion speaks, how a champion carries themselves on a daily basis. Now, prior to you coming to Prairie View, from outside looking in, what has been some of the hidden gems and some of the greatest surprises that you have seen on the Prairie View basketball squad from outside and now as an insider?
Shayla did a good job of getting to the free throw line and finishing in traffic. I knew she could turn the corner, but I had no idea what a great, slasher she was. Chelsea, phenomenal shooter. I was really surprised about what I saw with her abilities. Jaira, I just, phenomenal kids. I mean, just phenomenal people. Just so excited to be working with them. They're hungry. They go 100, and so it's just been a wonderful time for me, a refreshing time. Change to me is always a good thing. It's an opportunity. I look at change as opportunity. And so this has been a wonderful opportunity. Some of the kids that were already here, Keasia Williams, will probably see a lot of time for us with the three. We brought in the Ford kid. We brought in the Tolbert and the Burrell kid. Those kids came in with us, and the Shepherd kid. So, we added some pieces, but I just think this team has a chance. If they're willing to work and fight for it, I think they have a good chance. So I'm going to do everything in my power to put him in that space for that opportunity. So and that's the challenge that myself and my staff face, and we accept it.
Now, let me ask you this, Sandy. Is it fair to assess or assume that there's a such thing as having too nice of a team on the floor?
You know what? I've always been a believer, that, nice is one thing, but when it comes time for competition, we can shake hands and be friends when it's over. But when the competition is afoot, you got to do what you got to do. So, Jaira is one of the sweetest young ladies you'll ever meet. She's like grandmama to everybody. She's always somewhere taking care of someone else. So, if we can get her to use her assets and, and bang a little bit down on that block and get to her spots and finish, I just think that, that those two people we have on that first team can finish it in first team at the final ballot, and they can help us tell us where we want to be. So we have our opportunities. It's just right here before us.
Once again, we're speaking with Sandy Pugh and the Lady Panthers getting ready for the 2018 campaign. A lot of work to get done in such a short time. Now, you're infamous for this elbow offense, and a lot of people might not be familiar on the elbow offense. Explain that, and what are some of the key mechanisms of ensuring that you have a good, solid representation for that?
Well, basically, the ball is entered through what they call a pinch post, which is the junction where the lane line joins the free throw line. So that's called, traditionally, old school coaches call it the elbow. A lot of the new school coaches call it the pinch post, but the ball is in it through to the post players there. And you run different segments. Some people might reference it as horns, but what I do is not horns because we don't run it through two post players there. But we've had a lot of success with it. I put it in, I guess about 3 years ago. It took the kids about 2 years to really define their roles and understand the when, where, what, why, how, and had a lot of success with it last year. And Brianna Green was first team all conference, because it went through her. She was the primary caretaker at that position. So this year we have a couple of kids that's going to run. We're going to run it through them, and I just think that the offense, it works. It gives us an opportunity to share the ball and gives us an opportunity to position ourselves for an easy layup or a three. So kids really like it. It's not hard to learn at all. You put it in one day and run it tomorrow. So, like I said, I've had a lot of success with it.
Okay, a lot of success. So if you were, without giving up too many family trade secrets, who would be your Brianna Greens for this Panthers team?
Whew, that's tough. Brianna did a multitude of things for us, but in that particular offense, I have a couple of junior college transfers running it. And, they're still learning. Like I said, it took her, we've been running it 3 years, and it took her until her second year to acclimate to it fully. But these kids are, they're learning. It requires you to have some one-on-one skill set. So, one-on-one is something of a lost art in girls basketball because, back when I played, that was something you did every day, playing one-on-one out in the backyard, in the schoolyard, etc. But, that's not something that the kids do much anymore. So you have to kind of teach that aspect. So we're teaching and they're learning, and they're going to continue to get better at it as time go on. And whether or not, anyone gets to the level, in it as a Brianna Green remains to be seen. I'm hopeful because she was such an exceptional athlete. And we do have a couple of kids that are, in that caliber. So, but as I say, it's a learning curve, so we're hopeful.
No doubt about it. Brianna Green was definitely a joy to watch perform her crafts and skills on the court. And when you make reference to a lot of kids not playing the one-on-one much like they used to, could that be because now most of the coaches are stressing the zone, whether it's a 1-3-1, 2-1-2 zone, because that's easier to coach?
I wouldn't say that. I think a lot of coaches are going to the zone because of the rules. When they put the handshake rule in, and that was the last couple of years. That's been a point of emphasis, and a lot of coaches were making the comment that their opponents were shooting too many free throws. So a lot of coaches went to the zone to try to curb some of that. So trust me, if they're coaching Division I, they can coach. I mean, you don't get there are no there are no shabby coaches out there. There are no shabby teams. I mean, everybody was their best player on their team, and their high school team. So these kids can play, and these coaches, are very into that. You have to put in offenses and defenses based on what's best for your team. So if that's zone, if you're a little slower foot or you got, bigger girls, you want to take up more space, you can go zone or, keep people out of the lane. Smaller teams such as ourselves, teams will go zone.
Okay, so the emphasis is still to be an attacking, aggressive unit on that offensive side of the floor.
Oh yeah, you definitely want to be the aggressor on the offensive side of the floor. You want to definitely get that basketball, as some coaches call it, the nail hole, which is the center of the free throw line. You want to get the basketball there, get it to the elbow, get it to the block, get it to your top scorers in positions where they can finish and get you baskets. So anytime you're running an offense, you definitely want to run something that is designed to get your top hands the basketball in a position where they could be, a threat. So, the offense that we run is definitely designed to do that on a lot of levels.
Well, the Lady Panthers are getting warmed up. I know we're in the middle of football season, but I can hear the basketballs bouncing and the whistles blowing and the tennis shoes squeaking up and down the floor. And Coach Sandy Pugh will be leading that charge for the Lady Panthers on this 2018 campaign. Now, Coach, you got to promise me that we're going to keep this line open and flowing, keep it going, and we'll have our weekly chats to talk about the development of the program throughout the course of the season. Is that a promise from you?
Mike, I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to visit, and I'm looking forward to visiting with you on a weekly basis and talking about my favorite subject, Panther women's basketball. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're more than welcome, and I know I've welcomed you, and I'll say it again. Welcome to the Hill. I think you look good in purple and gold too, by the way. And it works out great. The Lady Panthers will have a couple of home exhibition games taking on Jarvis Christian and Arlington Baptist. And I think I may have shared this, which I got a niece that plays for Arlington Baptist. I won't call her name out just yet. I'll see how she does against you. I won't PV.
You may or may not own her.
Right. I want PV to win, but I want her to do a good job as well. So we'll keep a close watch on that. But Sandy, we definitely appreciate you and thank you for your availability. And I'm going to give you some final thoughts and comments before we shut this segment down.
Hey, it's going to be a phenomenal year. We're looking forward to getting out there on the night and getting this thing fired up. It's going to be a fast team. I tell everybody, don't blink. You might miss it. So come on out, support, clap us up, cheer for the kids. And you see them walking, make sure you stop them and let them know what you feel and think about, what's going on the court, because that's a big part of it too. And keep them encouraged. Man, I'm looking forward to my first year here. And, this is going to be great things to come. So I hope everybody's going to come out, support, and be a part of it.
Yes, ma'am, and it's definitely going to be a great thing. Now, I do want to ask you one final question because we know there's construction for the Baby Dome, and there's talks that it could not be ready. What are some of the potential windows of opportunity of going out to check out some Panther Lady basketball?
November the 9th, we're going to be playing at the Recreation Center. The gym has been afforded to us for that. November the 19th and December the 8th. Those are the first three opportunities to watch us in action. So inviting everybody to come on out and, hang out with us, have a good time. We're going to be doing some fantastic promotions for each one of the games. And, hopefully the fans will bring the kids out and take part in some of the promotions we're going to have for the kids, too.
Okay, and all three of those games will be at the rec center on campus.
As of right now, there has been talk about moving the Rice game, so there's no clarity on exactly which way. We haven't had an opportunity to meet on it, so I'm sure Ms. Pete and Mr. Washington will give me some advice on which way they want to go with that within the next couple of days. So I'll have more information hopefully next time we meet.
No problem.
We're able to talk.
Make sure you keep us informed, and we'll pass it on to our listeners abroad. Miss Sandy Pugh of the Prairie View A&M University Lady Panthers basketball team. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. We'll pause for the calls, and we'll be right back.
Hey, my name is Nikki Antwine, owner of Miracles and Blessings Salon and Spa out in Missouri City, Texas. I want to shout out to my son, Andre Lewis, who is the receiver over at PV University. And I just want to say I love listening to Mike Prince on the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to expire my time for today. I must exit stage left. We want to thank Coach Dooley for making himself available through the SWAC conference line. We want to thank Sandy Pugh for calling in and chatting with us. We'll hear from Coach Byron Smith tomorrow and continue to look at the tales of the tape of the Prairie View Alcorn matchup this homecoming on Saturday. Don't forget, you can dial in at 713-570-6736 for your thoughts, comments, and concerns on the message line, or you can visit the website, become a listening partner today at obnradio.com. Click on the PayPal button and become a listening partner today. Until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.